Hey everybody, how are you? This is Julie, back out on our mat together. This is our Saturday morning foundational class, working with some basic forward folds. And we're going to get started just on our mat in Sukhasana, comfortable seated posture. Hope everybody and their family is well and healthy and feeling all set for yoga this morning or this evening. So I'm going to start with a block. If you want to use a block, go ahead and get a block or a book or a pillow or bolster that you might want to sit on. And just find a space of comfort. Like I said, we're going to be working, kind of focusing on standard standing and seated forward folds. And the benefits of the forward folds, there's many benefits in the yoga postures. One being that it's going to stretch your hips, your hamstrings, and your calf muscles. You're going to strengthen your thighs and your knees. It's really great for keeping the spine strong and flexible with all these forward folds, especially when we're using our bandhas that we've been talking about for quite a while now. It helps to reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and fatigue. And it calms the mind and it soothes the nerves. So it will relieve tension in the spine, the neck, and the back. And it also activates your abdominal muscles. So there's a lot going on in most all the asana practices that we do, and I would say across the board. But this is some of the benefits that you should be feeling in our standing forward bends as well as our seated. Again, it will soothe the nervous system. And it will tone and stimulate your internal organs, as well as increase circulation to the pelvic organs. So many benefits to these postures. So starting in Sukhasana, which is a comfortable seat, and that may mean crossed at the ankles or a half lotus or full lotus posture. You could start by just resting your hands down on your knees, towards your knees, and you draw your chest forward slightly and lift it up and draw your shoulders back and pull your abdominal muscles back to the spine, and a slight lifting of the chin, draw it back. So you're finding length in your spine as you're grounding down through your sitting bones. And even close your eyes for a moment and notice, just take notice, take the temperature of the body and the mind. See how you're feeling. And notice where your breath is. Let's just start to find our breath by taking a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale gently through the mouth, making a ha sound. And two more in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And one more in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. And begin to breathe in and out through the nose only. And start by taking your left hand to the outside of the right thigh as you get a gentle twist, gazing in the direction of the right corners of your eyes. And take 5 breaths here for 1. Breathing slowly in and out through the nose. And 2. And 3. Four. One more breath, 5. coming back to center. And going to the other side, crossing the right hand outside the left thigh, twisting, gazing to the left corners of your eyes for 5 breaths for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and coming back to center. Bringing your hands to heart center, gazing over your fingertips, and setting an intention for your practice. Maybe it's intention of finding more clarity in your mind, in your body, or in your life. More love, more peace. So setting an intention that comes from the heart. And then just release that intention. Trust. Trust that that which you put out there will come back to you or to your loved ones as it's meant to be. And then come back, roll over onto your hands and knees, moving the block away from your sitting bones, maybe keeping it close by. We may use this for another posture or two. So coming to your hands and knees, and we're going to go into what we call Vidalasana. That's your hands and knees setting up for your cat and cow. So fingers spread wide and evenly, push into the pads, firm into the knuckles. Create a little cupping action in the hands, protecting the carpals of the wrist. As the wrist and shoulders align, the knees and the hips, the tops of the feet down or tucked under, and then engage your bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. And lifting your sit bones up, draw your chest forward and through, lift your gaze, or keep your gaze to the tip of the nose if it puts too much stress on the eyes to gaze up. And exhale, you just round into your back body and gaze to your navel. And inhale, cow, drop the belly, open the chest, work your shoulders up and back. And exhale, cat for 2. 3 more, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. For 3, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. For 4, and 1 more, inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. For 5. So keeping your back rounded, shift your hips back to your heels, extend your arms long, and find yourself in a child's pose. Balasana, Utthita Balasana, the arms reaching forward. And just take 3 breaths here, breathing deeply. 1, 2, 3. And then roll back to your hands and knees. Now tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and straighten through your legs. Reach your heels back and down, finding your way into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. So down dog, let's see, this is kind of weird. From downward facing dog, your sitting bones are lifted, your gaze is to your navel, your heels are reaching back and down, and maybe begin to pedal out through the heels, bending alternate knees, just walking your dog, waking up the body, breathing deeply. And then inhale, lifting both heels up, and gaze through your hands. Exhale, lower the heels, gaze through your legs. Inhale, lift up, gaze forward. Exhale, lower the heels back and down. And this time coming to your knees and shifting back into Balasana, child's pose. Either the toes can stay tucked under, and maybe continue to reach your arms forward and your crown forward. Taking 3 breaths here. 2, 3. And lifting back up to hands and knees, and then back into downward facing dog, your Adho Mukha Svanasana. Gaze to your navel and take 5 breaths here. So maybe just grounding through your heels this time. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dropping your knees down and sitting back on your heels again. Either toes tucked under or the tops of the feet can be down for 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll into your hands and knees, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog for 5 breaths. If you still need to pedal out through the heels, you can do so, whatever it is that you need. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more time. Bringing your knees down and sitting back on your heels. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll into your hands and knees and just tucking your toes under and lifting your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. And gazing forward and slowly stepping your feet to your hands. So walk to the front of the mat and find a half lift. So if you have a block handy, you might want to use your block to ground down through the palms. Straight arms, straight back, soft knees. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold in, drawing your chest a little closer to your legs. Again, inhale, lifting up, half lift. And exhale, folding in. One more time, inhale, half lift. And exhale, just folding in. If you don't have a block, you could have your hands to the ground, or they would be at your shins. Folding in right now. And then slowly trace your hands up your legs as you come back to standing. Into Samasthiti, equal standing at the front of your mat. Arms by your side. So you're grounding down through your Padas, your feet. Your toes are spread wide. Ground down through the base joint of the big toe, outer edge of the little toe. Ground down to the center of the heels. Step your feet out a little wider if you're back injured or pregnant. And then draw everything back towards one another. So draw your heels together, your shins, your knees, your thighs, inner thighs, hips, shoulders up and back, chest open. And then from your inner elbows to your fingertips rolling in, lengthening through your spine. Take a breath here, inhale. And exhale. So we're going to move through Sun Salutation A's, the classical. Again, either lowering your back, your knee will either drop down, or when we step back, the knee will either lower down, or you can come into a crescent with that stance. I'll show you those options. So inhale, reaching your arms up, and take 2 breaths here. Inhale. For 1. And take 1 more breath here. Inhale. For 2. And then inhale and exhale, fold forward, reach for the ground. Inhale, half lift. Step your right foot back and drop your right knee down. Reach your arms out and up. Take your gaze up to your hands and stay there for a moment. Or maybe that's too much on your back knee. You can use any kind of support on your knee using a blanket, a pillow, or just slightly lifting that back knee. And then this would be a bit of a crescent pose as you gaze up here. And then reaching your hands forward and down. Step your front foot back, you're in a plank. Drop your knees, move through your chaturanga. So hovering and then press away to lift up into your cobra with elbows bent or straighter arms into an up dog. Roll over your toes, back into a downward facing dog. Now step your right foot forward and drop your left knee down, or just let that knee hover. Be kind of a crescent pose where your arms would come up. So either your knee is down in Anjaneyasana or your back knee is lifted. And then reach your hands forward and down and step your back foot to meet your front foot. Coming into a half lift, either block or 2 hands to shin or hands to ground. And exhale, fold in. Now inhale, rise up, arms up, gaze up, and come back to standing. Again, arms out and up, forward and up, gaze into your palms, take 2 breaths. Inhale for 1. Now 2. And take a deep inhale. And exhale, fold forward and reach towards the ground. Either hand to your block or to your shin. Inhale, half lift, gaze towards the horizon. And exhale, step your left foot back. Left knee down or hover that left knee to the ground and reach your arms up. Take a breath here for 1. And take another breath, inhale. Now exhale, take your hands forward and down and step your right foot back into that plank position. And either drop your knees or keep them lifted, tops of the feet down. Bend through your elbows by your rib cage. Press away to lift into cobra or up dog. Roll over the toes, downward facing dog. And step your left foot forward. Drop your right knee down. Rising up, gazing up. Taking your breath. And bringing your hands forward and down. And step the back foot forward. Straighten to a half lift. And exhale, here's your forward fold. Draw your forehead towards your legs. And inhale. Rise up, arms up and over the head. Gazing to your thumb, lifting your chest. And back into standing. Samastitihi. Again, inhale, the arms out and up. Gaze up, look up. Fold forward, reach for the ground. Inhale, find a half lift. Exhale, step your right foot back and drop your right knee down or come into crescent. Inhale, reach up, gaze up. Exhale, hands forward and down and step your front foot back, plank. and drop the knees or keep them lifted. Move with chaturanga. Press into up dog cobra and over the toes to downward facing dog. Take a breath. Now step your right foot forward. Drop your left knee down. Inhale, gaze up, look up. Chest is lifted, gaze is up. And exhale, hands forward. And step your back foot forward to meet the front foot into a half lift. And exhale, fold in deeply. And rising up with the breath, inhale up. And exhale, back to standing. Inhale, arms out and up. Take 2 breaths here, lengthening, stretching, reaching for the sky for 1. And 2. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, reach forward and down for the ground. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step the left foot back, drop the left knee down, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana or crescent. Take a breath here. Reaching your hands forward and down, step the right foot back, plank, drop your knees or keep them lifted, move through chaturanga, hovering, pressing from the ground, move into an up dog, roll over the toes, downward facing dog, and take a breath here for 1. And step the left foot forward, drop the right knee down and rise up, gaze up. And bring your hands forward and down and step the back foot forward into a half lift. And exhale, fold in deeply. And inhale, rise up, gaze up, and come back to standing. Samastitihi. 1 more. Inhale, arms out and up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, reach for the ground. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step the right foot back, right knee down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands forward and down, tuck your back toes under, back into plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step the right foot forward, left knee down, and rise up. Bring your hands forward and down, and step the back foot forward into a half lift. Exhale, fold in deeply. And inhale, rise up, gaze up, back to standing, Samastitihi. 1 more on the left. Inhale, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Step the left foot back, left knee down, rise up, Anjaneyasana or crescent. Bring your hands forward and down, step your front foot back, plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Rest into an up dog. Roll over the toes to down dog. And step the left foot forward, right knee down, rise up. Bring your hands forward and down, and step the right foot to meet the left. Come into a half lift. And exhale, fold in deeply. Inhale, rising up. Chest lifted, gaze up, and back to standing. We're going to do 2 more traditional sun salutation A's. Inhale, arms up, that's without dropping the knees. Gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, fold, reach for the ground. Inhale, half lift, gaze to the horizon. Exhale, back plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Pressing into your up dog. Stay with your cobra. Exhale down, we're facing dog for 5 breaths. For what you can walk your feet slightly forward, trying to ground down through the heels, gaze to the navel. Bund is engaged. 2, 3, 4, 5. Gaze forward, hop, step, jump forward into your half lift. Exhale, fold in a little deeper. And inhale, rise up. Coming back to standing, Samasthiti. Last one, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back plank, moving through Chaturanga Dandasana, pressing into an upward facing dog, rolling over the feet to down dog for 5 breaths. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hop, step, jumping forward to the front of the mat. Half lift. Exhale, folding in deeply. And then inhale all the way up. And coming back into standing Samasthiti. Coming back into Samasthiti. So taking a nice wide step out to the right long edge of your mat. It's about 5 feet apart. And reaching your arms out. So extending your arms out, shoulder distance height. Coming into Warrior 2. So pivot on the right heel, bending at the right knee. And take 10 breaths here, gazing out over your right fingertips. So this is a pretty long stance on this side. So 1, 2, Mula Bandha Uddiyana engaged. 3, 4, 5, maybe sink a little deeper. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straighten the right leg and take your legs forward and just release your arms down by your side. Shrug your shoulders up and back once and roll your shoulders forward. And then go to the other side. So pivot on the left heel, left toes pointing perpendicular to the short edge of the mat. A 90-degree bend into this left knee. Trying not to surf out over the leg or pull away from the leg. You're looking for a sense of being centered from the crown of the head, down the spine, out the center of the pelvic floor. Chest is open. Your fingers are reaching away from another. So you're spreading your collarbone, your shoulder blades apart as you gaze to your left fingertips for 10 breaths. Sinking down with each exhale. Inhale. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straighten that left leg, lower your hands down, and bring your feet parallel to one another. Now pivot on the right foot again. Point the right toes to the short edge of the mat. Put a nice deep bend into the right knee, and either the right hand is going to come down beside the right foot, or the forearm is going to come above the knee. Wherever you are, you're going to take your rib cage and open it to the long edge of the mat, either keeping your hand on your waist or extending and reaching your arm long up and over your head, gazing to your palm for 5 breaths. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 more, 5, and inhale, come back to warrior 2, straighten that right leg, pivot on your heels and move to the other side, putting a bend into the left knee. Either the left hand comes down to the ground or a block if it reaches comfortably, or the forearm comes above the knee, and roll your chest open to the long edge of the mat as you extend your arm up and over your ears, or you can keep your hands on your waist just opening through your chest. So extending long through the arm if you can, and gazing towards your palm for 5 breaths. For 1, 2, 3. Keep challenging yourself to go a little further with each breath, even if it's a millimeter. 4, 5. Come back into your warrior 2. Straighten that left leg. Pivot on your feet so they're parallel, and bring your hands to your waist. Toe heel your feet closer together, and then step back to the front of the mat into a Samasthiti, equal standing. Here we're going to take another step out to the right, about 3 feet apart, not as wide as the last 5 feet apart that we took. So it's a little shorter distance. Pivot on the right heel, toes point to the short edge of the mat, and just tee your arms out. We're going into triangle pose. So either reaching your right, both legs are straight, the knees can stay soft, either reaching for the toe with the peace finger and the thumb, or reaching for the shin, or taking your hand to the inside of the right leg, wherever you've decided to go. You want to roll your chest open to the long edge of the mat, reach your left arm up, and either gaze down at your front foot or up towards your left hand for 5 deep full breaths. For 1, 2, 3, steady on the feet. 4, and 5. On inhale, lift yourself up. So pivot your feet to be parallel and open your arms out. So extend long through your fingertips on an inhale. And exhale, taking your left foot now, pivot on the heel so the toes point towards the front of the mat or the short edge of the mat, and take another deep inhale here. So exhale, you want to reach forward. So your folds are normally on the exhale. So either reaching for the toe, for the shin, wherever you want on one side, come to this side, open the chest, reach the arm up, gaze down, out or up, 5 breaths. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slowly rise back up, feet parallel to one another. It's one of those days. And then step your right foot to your left foot, and you're standing at the front of the mat. Asana. So we're going to go into eagle pose. And we're going to hold it each side for a minute. That's what I was trying to figure out the timing on that. So we're going to bend the knees. We just start with eagle pose, bending the knees. The prep for it might be hands to the heart and cross the right shin over the top of the left knee. Open the right knee out. Come into that figure four, and you could stay here for 1 minute. Or if you want to go further, you would cross the right knee over the left, wrap the right foot around the left ankle, or just take it down and use it as a kickstand. Or you can also take it around and use a block. You could take time if you want to take more time to set up. So I'm going to just use mine as a kickstand today. So you would take your left elbow over the right if you're going into your eagle arms. If you're in a figure four, you can keep your hands to your heart, or you can use forearms reaching towards one another, pressing your palms together. So all of this is really up to you. So let's start now. So just breathing deeply. Your count, your breath. Gazing to your thumbs or your fingertips. About halfway there. And then just release and uncross the knee. Shimmy out through the hips. Then going into that number four on the other side. Again, just bending the knees, crossing the left ankle on top of the right knee, staying here or staying here, or going into a deeper Garudasana, legs and arms. The right elbow would be on top of the left. So wherever you are, let's start now for 1 minute, breathing deeply. And gently coming out. Coming back to the front of the mat if you have turned sideways into Samasthiti, into equal standing. So taking a big step out to the right, feet about 4 to 5 feet distance apart. Reach your arms out, extend your arms long, and then fold forward once again, either bringing your palms down to the mat. You can use blocks here if you would like. Working your hands back towards your heels, maybe dropping the crown of the head down. Maybe the head is grounded, or maybe using a block to rest the crown of the head on the mat. And we're going to hold this for 10 deep full breaths for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slowly, wherever you're at, you want to take a deep inhale and work your hands to your waist. Come halfway up and exhale. And then inhale, rise all the way up and reach your arms out. Now look down at your feet as you heel toe them closer together. So you want to put a bend into your elbows, and your ankles should be underneath your elbows. That's the distance we're looking for. So now we're going to take our hands down by our side and just pivot on our heels so all 10 toes are facing the back of the mat into a Parsvottanasana. So taking your arms up, we're going to move with arms reaching forward and down. Reaching your arms up and lifting your chest up. Exhale, slowly square your hips. So you'll notice you have to draw your right hip back in order to get that left hip forward. And just gently work your hands down towards the mat in front of you. If this isn't happening and you need a block, then you can grab a block. You can also try to just roll your mat towards you, and maybe that will give you just enough of a height to help ground down with your hands. Keeping both heels dropping down, hips squared. Lead your chin and chest forward of that right leg, and take 5 more breaths here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly coming back up. You can soften the knees as you need to come back up, and just pivot on the heels so your hips are squared in line with one another. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, reach your arms forward and maybe down to a block, or if you don't have a block, if that helps to roll the mat up to you, you could roll that mat up and press into the mat. Grounding down through the back heel, lift your chin and your chest forward, gaze to the tip of the nose. Draw the crown of the head towards the front of the mat for 5 breaths for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. And then just reach, release your mat, and slowly bring yourself back up, lifting up, and stepping your back foot to your front foot, standing at the front of the mat in Samasthiti, equal standing. So we're going to do a longer downward facing dog here, or child's pose. Inhale, arms up, gaze up to your palms. Exhale, fold forward, reach for the ground. Inhale, half lift, gaze to the horizon. Exhale, step back into your plank and drop your knees or keep them lifted. Move through a Chaturanga Dandasana, hovering, so don't bring your chest all the way down. Press away, you keep your elbows bent or straight through your arms, And exhale, either shift back into a child's pose or tuck your toes under and lift up and back into a downward facing dog. Again, we're holding it for about 10 breaths here, so this is going to be a little longer hold. So nice forward fold, either stepping your feet forward towards your hands or working your hands a little closer to your feet. Lift your sit bones higher. Draw your biceps to your ears. Take your gaze to your navel. And you're breathing deeply. Draw your Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha back and up. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You've gone into your down dog, drop your knees, and sit back into Balasana. So bring your knees together and your ankles together as you sit back on your heels. Reach back for your feet with your hands and just close the gap between your chest and your thighs and draw your chin to your chest and bring your forehead to your knees. Again, pretty much closing the gap. And then slowly lifting out of Balasana, making your way into Dandasana. So Dandasana, you're sitting with your legs extended long out in front of you. Your heels are reaching forward. Your toes are reaching back towards you. And your palms are grounding down, moving the flesh from the sitting bones. And we're going to stay here for about another 10 to 15 breaths. So you're really working your heels forward, your toes back, your knees soft, your chest open, your spine long, and you're breathing deeply. I'm going to let you just breathe at your own pace, deep, full breaths, maybe counting 3, 4, inhale, 3, 4, exhale. We're going to move into Uttanavishnu Konasana. So opening your legs out wide. You can even face the long edge of the mat. You're going to work your hands forward. If you want to use a block, let me grab my block here. You can go ahead and get a block. Again, you're seated. Maybe using a block, move the flesh from the sitting bones. And you're going to, if you want to use a block, you could just bring your forearms down and just rest your forehead on the block. You can also reach for your toes if you would like. Or you can extend your arms long out in front of you. So we're going to take about 10 breaths here. So start breathing. If you have stopped breathing, begin that breath cycle again. Mula Bandha Uddiyana for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And slowly use your hands to bring yourself back up. So we're going to go into Paschimottanasana, which is another forward fold. So your feet will be together, your legs together, flush from sitting bones. And you want to focus on a nice straight spine. Your knees can be soft, okay? So don't hyperextend through the knees, don't lock out the knees. And on an inhale, reach your arms up, and then exhale, trying to avoid rounding in your back body if possible. Just take your hands down towards your feet. They may go about to your shins. And draw the crown forward and stay here for about 10 breaths. So you're just settling into this forward fold. Again, you should be feeling the benefits of these forward folds, the lengthening, the stretching, the releasing. Then you're cleansing the nervous system. You're hopefully stilling the mind. Take about 5 more breaths. And then lift yourself up. Laying down on your back, slowly. Extend your arms up and over your head so you're reaching long. Now draw that left knee into the left shoulder and just cross the left knee over to the right. Maybe gaze to the left. See if you can make that twist in your mid back so your shoulder blades are grounded, so you're gazing to your left fingertips for 5 breaths here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And come back to center. Good, so lift your hips up to square them and lower your back down and then extend long from your fingertips to your toes. So you're equalizing out through the spine and the hips. And hug the right knee in. So if you're dealing with real hip problems or spinal problems, you might not want to go into a deep twist today. That's okay, you just keep hugging this right knee in towards the right shoulder. So you have to listen to your body. Otherwise, go into a twist, crossing the right knee to the left, gazing to the right, shoulders down if possible, for 5 breaths, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and coming back to center. This time, once again, I want you to get everything equalized against centered. So reach from your fingertips to your toes, extend long, and then bend your knees and reach for your heels. Now lift up, push through your heels to lift your hips and roll your tail underneath. So you're actually rounding the tail, tucking the tail, so when you lower down, your lower back is grounded. Coming into a bridge pose, Any variation that you know in bridge is welcomed here. You can use a block, put it under your sacrum, and you can keep it there the whole time, getting more of a restorative bridge. Or you can go into a wheel at any time, the full Urdhva Dhanurasana, or coming into a bridge, just lifting your hips with your palms down. Maybe shrugging your shoulders together, clasping your palms under your hips, lift your hips higher, take 5 breaths here for 1, 2, 3, 4, lift higher, and 5, and lower down. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, and inhale, lift up again for 5 breaths for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower down. I'll take a breath. So we have one more. You go to your fullest. You could also take your arms up and over your head if you'd like to see if this feels good to you. So just press away from the feet to lift the hips, keep the shoulder blades grounded, draw the chest towards the chin from the chest for 5 breaths for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And slowly lower down. Rolling, so it's upper, mid, lower back, rolling the lower back to ground through your sacrum and your lower spine. And now Apanasana, so draw your knees forward and back. Releasing once again. And lowering your feet down to the ground. Now lift your hips up, swing the hips to the left so the knees go to the right, gaze to the left, and take 3 breaths here for 1, 2, 3. And come back to center and lift the hips up again. Swing them to the right, drop the hips down, let the knees go to the left, gaze to the right for 3 breaths for 1, 2, 3, and come back to center. So Viparita Karani, or shoulder stand, or head stance, or arm balances, shoulder stand, handstands. Taking your feet, I'm going to go with my back down, my legs up the wall. You can use your hands to the back of your legs. You can even clasp your hands to keep your legs lifted. You can take your arms up and over your heads, feeling this sensation, or taking your hands underneath your hips, keeping your legs lifted. Wherever you've decided, you can go to a wall, take your legs up a wall. You can rest your feet on an ottoman. Say there's an ottoman right here that I'm just resting my legs on. That is good too. So wherever you go for 10 breaths. So start breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. and lower your legs down. Extend your legs long and find your way in Shavasana. So either bending your knees in Shavasana with the knees dropping in, which will support your lower back, or just extend your legs long, palms up by the hips, shoulder blades coming towards one another slightly, just to keep your chest lifted. And then just close your eyes. Allow for your body to relax in this space that you've created in your room, on your mat, in your mind. And begin to let that breath move freely. So maybe take a deep inhale and exhale out through the mouth. And then just let the breath move freely through your body. Feeling your eyes heavy. Your jaw is relaxed and the tongue is released. Any thoughts coming in, allow them to move on. As if you're looking at the sky and watching the clouds roll by. Without connecting to any shapes or any colors. Feeling and seeing and enjoying, but not attaching to. And staying in Shavasana. Closing your practice this day in Shavasana. When your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Staying for 5 to 10 minutes.